Time to look at your plan and all your pre-writing materials that you created and start thinking about drafting. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to do these first couple of steps, 1 and 2, which is to consider how your plan will translate into paragraphs and to determine the sequence, which means the order of your composition based off of your plan. And this video is showing you how to do that from a formal outline, which was one of the tools that I showed you that you could have picked from. So you're only watching this video if you created a formal outline, okay? The good thing about a formal outline is that a lot of the work is kind of done for you. Now remember, in one of the videos you watched before in the previous playlist, it said the important part is to make a plan, but you might not stick to the plan. Okay, I'm going to stick to my plan for the purposes of this video, but as you start drafting from your plan, you might find that you don't like the way that it's arranged. You might find that you want to cut a couple things. That's okay, but you don't have to worry too much about that right now. So the next steps in the writing process are revision and editing, and revision is a great opportunity for you to really think hard about, okay, maybe I want to cut this stuff out, or this stuff, or maybe I need to add something in here. So that's something to think about later on. Right now I'm going to just show you how to go straight from this plan to a draft. I'm not going to draft the entire essay that this plan would produce if I were to go all the way. I'm just going to do a paragraph, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so as I said, the nice thing about an outline is that it kind of lays out steps 1 and 2 for you. So remember, I don't know why this is jumping around on me. Internet's being slow, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so steps 1 and 2 were determined how this would translate into paragraphs and to determine the order. Well, a lot of times when you outline something in a very formal way, you've already done a lot of the work. That's why outlines, in my opinion, are a bit harder to do than bubble maps, and maybe even a little bit harder because there's more detail usually than doing a plot pyramid type plan, but we will get to those later. And I think it's a little bit harder because, as I kind of said before when I did a demonstration for how to build an outline, usually, not always, you might consider each of these Roman numerals. This is Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 3. Each of these are probably approximately a paragraph, at least for the rough draft. And then later on when you're revising, you might decide to take some of these tidbits out or add some in, or you might decide you want to put them in a different order. But I've sort of already put them in sequence and added quite a bit of detail because that's kind of just how outlines are designed. So let's take a look just at Roman numeral 1 here. My dog Chomp Chomp, he is energetic, which means he needs to play a lot, he does not like to be ignored, and he's an escape artist, which means that we've had to reinforce our gate and we don't leave him outside very often by himself. So basically everything that I just read off, I'm just going to put into a paragraph form. Okay, this is what drafting is all about. You're taking these little bits of information and turning them into complete sentences, turning them into complete paragraphs. So I'm just going to, first of all, I'm going to label my plan, even though it's pretty straightforward here. I'm going to say, and I'm doing this with a trackpad, so the writing is going to be terrible. This is the little paragraph symbol. This is paragraph 1. Wow, that's bad writing. Don't judge me. I'm going to say this is paragraph 2. This will be paragraph 3. This will be paragraph 4, which these are Roman numerals for these numbers. Paragraph 5. Paragraph 6. So the way I have this outlined, it looks like I'm going to have about 6 paragraphs. And you can see that I got less and less detailed as I went on. So that may or may not have been good planning. And I might find as I'm drafting that really 5 and 6, they are separate points, but maybe they need to go together into the same paragraph. So again, you'll make some of those decisions as you write. So I've done therefore the first step on here. Give me 1 second while this thing catches up with me. We've done step 1, considering how the plan translates into paragraphs, and I would suggest that you literally do what I just did. Get out your plan and label these by paragraph so you kind of know what you're going to do as you draft. And number 2, determine the sequence or the order of your composition. Again, this is already done for you on a formal outline. I'm not going to write anything else for formal outline. I have this in sequence already, because sequence means the order of things, and we have these numbers in sequence. I know that this can be paragraph 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Now again, maybe I decided I'm going to scribble these out, and I decided this is all going to be paragraph 5. Okay, perhaps as I'm writing, I decide that these need to be swapped. Maybe I decide that this would make a better paragraph 1 and this up here would make a better paragraph 2. So you label your plan. You need to read through your plan, consider the ideas, and just consider the order of things and how you might group them into paragraphs. Okay, so how could I turn this into... Uh-oh, how do I close that? Escape, escape. This is a new app I'm trying out. I'm obviously not super savvy with it. Okay, that's all right. We'll do it over here. So let's start writing. So my first Roman numeral 1 said, my dog Chomp Chomp is energetic, needs to play a lot, does not like to be ignored, etc., etc. So I'm going to turn that into sentences. So I would say, maybe I would start by saying, I have a dog named Chomp Chomp. That's not how you spell it. I have a dog named Chomp Chomp who is super energetic. Sorry, the lag is creating a lot of problems for me. Is super energetic, which means he needs to play a lot. Okay, so I turned, if we look back, man, this thing's driving me nuts. I don't even know what to do with it. Get out of here. Okay, so I turned this part, and this part, Roman numeral 1, capital A, and numeral 1, I turned all of those into one sentence. I have a dog named Chomp Chomp who's super energetic, which means he needs to play a lot. So you can see how I did that. So that's all we're doing. We're translating this information into sentences. Now, obviously, the more complex and interesting the sentences are, the better. However, I'm just worrying about getting the information down right now. Later, we're going to go back in and sort of juice it up a bit and add some interesting details and things like that. But I'm just going to working on translating this into sentences and paragraphs. So let's write the rest of this paragraph. This is going to be a very short paragraph for now. Later, I'm going to beef it up, okay? So what's next? He's energetic, which means he needs to play a lot. The next bullet point says does not like to be ignored. So I'm going to say he really does not like to be ignored. And then the next part's about him being an escape artist. So I'll say, in fact, he tends to turn into a little escape artist when he doesn't get the attention he needs. Because of this, we have had to reinforce our our gate. We also don't leave him outside for very long unattended. Notice I just got all my ideas out before I went back to check on this typo. So by the way, whenever you get a typo, you're going to get this red squiggly line. So just go away. And that means, hey, there's something wrong with a spelling or something. So on your Chromebooks, if you would take both of your fingers and click on it, then this menu will pop up and it will give you some options. So it thinks it needs to look like that. To me, that looks wrong. I'm going to put a dash in. Okay, so let's look at what I've done. I have turned this part up here into sentences that form a paragraph. And that's all I'm doing for now. Okay, so I would move on to do the same thing with this one, and this one, and this one, and this one in separate paragraphs. So that, my friends, is how you turn your outline into sentences and paragraphs, by first labeling and considering how you might group it together into paragraphs and how you might sequence it for a formal outline.